Hey people, what's going on? I know it's been a minute since I've made a video, but you know how it is. It can be like that. I just saw that Sequoia Flame made his first video in 2 months. Was good to see him. Haven't checked in with too many other folks, but you know, it just gets like that sometimes. I have no new records to show, although I have revisited some of the more recent things that I've gotten and given them closer listens. Any music that that I absorb, usually I get much more from it the next few times I listen to it. So don't have it right here, but the Roger Coleman, his new CD, I've listened to that again, and that made a better impression, stronger impression. Wish I still had it to just kind of show right quick. Just what's sitting here musically. I'm going to keep this short because, like I said, don't have anything new to show you. But last week I played on my radio show some of the full version of Miles Davis's Bitches Brew, which I do happen to own when it came out on CD in this deluxe 4D CD set, where all the sessions that were recorded at that time are put out together, and it illustrates that some of the music from Bitches Brew was released years later on albums like Live Evil and stuff, which I didn't know until I got this. Miles Davis, what can be said? Speaking of my radio show, today is Monday, July 3rd. Tomorrow is the 4th. I may speak about that at the end of the video. But it's also birthday time for my family. Yesterday was my younger sister Adrian's birthday. The week before was my sister Stephanie. The week before was my brother Patrick. And this Friday is me. So for my Roots of Electric Jazz show on Thursday, I plan to indulge myself with a birthday special and play a lot of music that I wouldn't be able to play on the show otherwise because of the format of the show. It's Roots of Electric Jazz. So this Thursday, my intent is to just play whatever it is I want to play, which means I'll be playing a fair amount of non-jazz music, you know, whatever it is I like. Some stuff that I was going through that I may or may not play because but just listening to some of my favorite music, I pulled Chrome by Catherine Wheel. I see where Ferment has been recently finally reissued on vinyl. This is probably coming too, but this is very hard to find on vinyl. And it's just a burner of an album. We got the CD as well. Just song after song after song. This is, for a while I was, for the longest time as a fan of Catherine Wheel, I agreed with them that their masterpiece, studio masterpiece, comparative to OK Computer, was Adam and Eve. But for energy and for pure Catherine Wheel, this is the one to me. This is the album. This is just amazing. Something else that will likely get played is Faust IV. This is a CD remaster of it that came out a few years ago. Faust, one of my favorite bands, really, truly, deeply influenced the way that I listen to music and sound. It was already headed in that direction, but when I heard the first Faust album, there was just something about that collage at the beginning where you hear a snippet of the Beatles and the Stones put together and how they got to get away with it. You know, there's almost every other time you've heard the Stones in the past, the Stones, Ellen Klein would sue. And I was just, you know, amazed that they were able to do this, you know, among other things, you know. Henry Cow, In Praise of Learning. I have the CD out because I'm trying to choose what to play. And it's easier on the radio to just go digital rather than haul in records and put them on the turntable. But again, another group that's very important to the shape of how I see music. Real important band. Wire. I wish I had their new records on vinyl. I do have them on the computer. Love this band. This is Change Becomes Among Us. Came out, I think, 2013. They came out during the punk scene, but quickly became game changers. By the time they put out the album 154, there was nobody else doing what Wire was doing, in my honest estimation. Don't know that I'll play this, but this is another favorite album of mine, which I played recently. Maybe a precursor to what they call New Age music. I just consider it really healthy, beautiful music. Kit Watkins from the band Happy the Man. Labyrinth, his first solo album. Just beautiful, very melodic and lyrical and soft, but also progressive. It's got those progressive moves that we love. Just a great album. This is a classic album. I used to have the original, and the original was given to me by a friend in high school, and that's partially why I didn't know to value it and somehow lost it. But Neu's first album under a different title, Hallogallo. It's the 1979 reissue of it on Brain Records. This album is just a classic of what they call it krautrock, but that's not right. This is just, it's got everything. It's got motoric beat, it's got ambience, it's got soundscapes. It's a fantastic album. It's very simple and yet visionary. That's what I'd say. The vision of this music is deep. I didn't play it, but I pulled it because I have this one as well. The first two albums as a reissued as a double album on Brain. Yeah. You see people showing this album in the vinyl community, and there's a good reason for it if you don't know the music. Another absolute classic, and in some ways also game-changing album, was Radioactivity by Kraftwerk. I hadn't played this in a long time, and it kept turning my head because of the subtle things going on with the sound. Kraftwerk. Masters of the game. Masters of the game. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah. I will say this, if you're still with me, John. I've gone back and listened to this several times, and I like Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Probably something I wouldn't have paid much attention to, but this is unique and very, very melodic. Very good. Very good. Have to show it again because it's still getting played almost every day. This is definitely my album of the year. It brings me a lot of comfort, and comfort is the word, and joy. And it sets up a space in my house that I like living in. New visuals. This album is fantastic for my taste. Just one of the best albums to come out this year, by far, for Dereck. Hadn't played this in a long time. Would usually skip over the vocal tracks. Yesterday I played the whole album, and Steve Hackett really can't sing, as it were, but he makes it work. I love his guitar playing, highly strung. I think this is like 1983. The instrumentals and all of his writing on here, I love it. I love his music. I love his sense of melody. And his guitar playing is very influential on me as well. Hadn't played this in a long time. Great album, Steve Hackett. Really good album. Anything else? Yeah, let me keep going until I stop. So I have played some records since I've seen you. Yesterday morning I started the day with this semi-classical sounding band, Rachel's. The Sea and the Bells. It mixes a string section with other instruments and sound exploration very nicely. Very evocative. At several points of this double album, the music breaks down into pure sound. I just love stuff like that. Pure sound. Like you're on the sea. That's what it sounds like. And here's one that I hadn't played in a long time. I'm glad I kept it. It's from the 80s. You never hear... This album never did anything. I don't know why. This is actually very, very good. I guess you'd call it... No, I don't know what you call it. This comes from the REM section of alternative music when it was first coming on. The band is called End Over End, Scenes from a New World. It's a simple bass, drum, and guitar album, but there's a real vitality to the performance here. The playing is actually, I think, exceptional, and there's something distinct about the melodies and the songs. I think this album is completely overlooked, end over end. Scenes from a New World. One of my favorite albums. I don't know whatever happened to these guys, if they continued in music or not, but this is I think, an excellent album. Excellent album. Somewhere in the region of REM is the best I can put it. And here's another record I'm glad I kept, a 12-inch. When I first heard Tears for Fears, when they first came out, I liked them. And I bought this single, The Way You Are. B-side is some live stuff, and you can just really hear how impassioned they were about what they were doing at the very beginning. Really good music. So I'll just share that music with you, and if I've shown you something you've never heard before, seek it out and find out what you think about it. I do have to speak politically just momentarily because it's the 4th of July, and also in light of the continued disaster of man that we have in the office right now. What's the latest BS besides his tweets, the video of him punching a CNN doll? This would never stand if it were a person of color. The right wing or who, I don't want to be I don't want to go racial, but that's part of this. You know what I'm saying? White privilege. This rich white man, look what he's able to get away with, and it's continually excused, and people are continually excusing his behavior. It's such a double standard. It's just so wrong. I mean, try to look at it from my position as a person of color. After the president we just last had, who I didn't think much of, now he looks like a saint compared to the shit we have now. But try to see it from my perspective, or another person of color, the complete unfairness of everything regarding the way this country is run. This buffoon, this reality star shyster who made money by dicking people, is the president and making a mockery of everything, and yet we still have scads of people excusing him, supporting him, trying to explain away this behavior that's downright ill. Sometimes this stuff enrages me so much I don't even want to talk, because it's all that I will talk about. So there you have it, folks. That's the latest with Dereck.